Welcome to this answer explanation video for add two or more fractions. This video will talk through the answers to the add two or more fractions worksheet and have a look at some of the tricky bits. Question 1. Match the calculations to the correct answers. So we have calculations A, B, C and D, and then we have 4 options of answers. So we need to go through each calculation, add them together, find the answer and check that it's an answer that's listed on that right hand side. So starting with calculation A, I'm going to write my answers next to it. They are all eighths. Got 4 eighths, add 1 eighth, add 5 eighths. I know that when I'm adding, my denominator is going to stay the same, so that's going to remain 8. So we need to add the numerator. So 4, add 1 is 5, add another 5 is 10. And 10 eighths is one of the options. Calculation B, 6 eighths, add 3 eighths, add 4 eighths, add 2 eighths. Again, my denominator is going to stay the same. My answer will be in eighths. So I need to go through and add the rest. So 6 add 3 is 9, add 4 is 13, add 2, 15. So my answer is 15 eighths. And again, that's one of my options. So far, so good. Calculation C, 4 eighths, add 2 eighths, add 3 eighths. Again, we're working with eighths and my answer will be in eighths. So I'm adding 4 eighths and 2 eighths, so that's 6. Add another 3, which is 9. And again, 9 eighths is one of my options. So if we've done this correctly, our final answer should be 14 eighths. So we have 5 eighths, add 3 eighths, add 6 eighths. Again, the denominator is staying as 8. We have 5, add 3, which is 8. Add another 6, which is 14. So there we have our 4 calculations, matched to their 4 answers. Everything matches up, so we know that question is correct. Question 2. Use the number lines to complete the calculations below. We have calculation A and calculation B. We can start by filling in the information that we already know. So in these calculations, the denominators are going to be the same within the calculation. So for calculation A, we have 5 sixths, and then we have missing numbers here for our other denominators. We have another sixth here. Because our denominator is going to stay the same throughout the calculation, I can fill in sixths for these bits. That leaves me with filling in the numerator here, so I'm finding the answer to this calculation. Using your number line, you can see that your number line starts with 0, and on the first marker you have 1 sixth. A bit further on you also have 6 sixths. That means that each increment increases by 1 sixth. So I can show you on a number line I'm going to draw here. In order to add our 4 fractions together, I'm going to find where 5 sixths would be, and I can label that on my number line. I'm then going to add 3 sixths. So I'm adding the next number in the calculation. So if I add 3 sixths, I will get to 8 sixths. My next jump, so you would count the increments in order to help you count on by 7 sixths, because we're adding 7 sixths next. When we add 7 sixths, we would get to 15 sixths. And then our final jump is going to be to add 4 sixths, and we would get 19 sixths. So that would be the final missing number. So our answer is 19 sixths, and the other missing numbers were 6 because they represent sixths. For B, our missing number is here. So this first fraction is completely blank, so we need to find the numerator and the denominator. We also need to find the denominators here, but our answer is 23 ninths. If I know that the answer is 23 ninths, that tells me that the denominators for the rest of the calculation are also ninths. This time, we're trying to find the answer here. So we can actually use the inverse. So rather than adding all of these together, we could start with 23 ninths on our number line, and we could jump back to find the number at the start of the calculation. So I'm going to start at 23 ninths. I'm then going to count back by 6/9. Whoops. 6/9. And that would take me to 17/9. Then check my next number. And of course, on your number line, which goes up in increments of 1/9, you would need to find 23/9 and then use the increments to help you count back. So we're at 17/9, we're counting back by 11/9, and that would take me to 6/9. My final step is a jump of 2, so I can take away my 2/9, and I would end up on 4/9. So the number that we start with in that calculation is 4/9, and the other missing numbers were our denominators, which are also 9ths. For our final question, we have to find a path through the maze by adding the fractions together to reach the finishing total. So we're starting with 1/15, and by the time we get to that finish, we need to have 49/15, and we're going to add up as we go along. So if we're starting at 1/15, I can have a think about the calculations as I go along. It's a bit of trial and error with this question, so that means you might try different routes, realise your total by the end won't be 49/15, so you might go back a step or you might start again to try a different way around. I'm going to show you how you could do that as you go along, and then I'll give you one option as a final answer, but there could be different ways to give your final answer. So if you start with 1/15, you might decide that next you're going to go for 3/15. So if you make your way onto 3/15, that means that your total so far is 4/15. From the box which says 3/15, you can either add 9/15 or you can add another 3/15. So you're either going to the right or you're taking a step down. In this example, I'm going to take a step down. So my total was 4/15, and I'm taking the step down, which is adding another 3/15. So my total so far is 7/15. So you could shade in each box as you go along to keep track of where you're going, and I'd also recommend writing down your total as you go along so that you don't lose track. So the idea is that you would try different routes. If it doesn't work, you might decide that that wasn't an option, so you're going to go back to that box there. So instead of going down, I'm going to go to the right. So this time, my 4/15, because I was on the 3/15, the second box along, I'm going to add 9/15. So I'd have 13/15. So I like the look of that one better because it's quite 49/15. That's quite a lot of 15s. So if I'm adding the bigger numbers, so rather than adding 3/15, I'm going for 9, maybe I've got a better chance of reaching that big total. So make your way through the maze, try different ways. Don't worry if it doesn't work. You can just take a step back and have another go. Here's one of the ways you could have completed the maze. That was a video explaining the answers to the Add 2 or More Fractions worksheets from Classroom Secrets. For more worksheets, go to classroomsecrets.co.uk, or for a video tutorial on the same step, go to kids.classroomsecrets.co.uk. Thank you for watching.